Last week, during Epic's presentation at the State of Unreal 2025 in Orlando, Epic Games revealed an incredible tech demo about The Witcher 4, which, by the way, is the tech demo you're watching right now. And even though what we're seeing, as I mentioned, isn't exactly a video game, it's not the final game of The Witcher 4. It is a demo that left us all speechless. Because it looks incredible, and because it shows the potential of the latest version of Unreal Engine running on consoles. Because yes, even though it sounds crazy, this is running on a standard PlayStation 5. But of course, these scenes we just saw sparked a lot of controversy. Because how can this be running on a standard PlayStation 5? It looks amazing, even if you say, well, maybe the PlayStation 5 can't handle these graphics. It still looks amazing. Still, what we just saw is top quality, and the truth is that it really is running on a PlayStation 5. Why wouldn't the people from Epic, the people from CD Projekt, the people from Sony be there? Lying to us at the same time, that would be really messed up. It's running on a PlayStation 5, but it's not a video game, it's a tech demo. Yeah, they're controlling Siri, making her walk, but there are a lot of processes that happen in a video game that aren't happening here. Here they're just, demonstrating the potential of Unreal Engine 5.6. The thing is, this demonstration of potential gave us a lot of information about what the future potential of video games could be. They showed us technologies, they showed us this gameplay that's spectacular, and some features of what the world of Witcher is going to be like. 4. And that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Are you comfortable? The tech demo presented by Epic and CD Projekt Red wasn't meant to show us playable scenes from The Witcher 4, nor to show us sword fights, magic, or anything like that. But rather to demonstrate what Unreal Engine 5.6 can achieve. Running on a base console on a standard PlayStation 5. This demo was running at 60 frames per second with ray tracing enabled. And even though they didn't mention the resolution, at least 1080 is guaranteed. And in this demo, Epic was using the new technologies of Unreal Engine 5.6. For example, nanite foliage, which is an evolution of Unreal Engine's virtual geometry system, which now only applies to vegetation. It's a technology that allows every leaf, every stick, every twig to be made up of billions of polygons, without affecting the final performance of the video game, unlike other traditional systems that were previously used for textures and these kinds of things. What this technology basically does is to make the models look super detailed up close, but from a distance when the camera moves away. The super detailed models turn into something like little cubes or dots or pixels. They react to lights, weather, etc., but with less detail. They offer close-up and distant realism without sacrificing game performance. On the other hand, fast geometry streaming. It's a technology that allows large amounts of complex geometry to be loaded in real time, from the storage disk to the game's graphics engine, without loading screens or drops in performance. How does this work? I have no idea. They also talked about the machine learning deformer and MetaHuman, two technologies that allow for real-time simulation of muscle deformations and facial microexpressions, to make faces, expressions, gestures, and other things look more realistic in real time and not just seem fake. Just like a video game, that's it. We've already seen the whole MetaHuman thing before. We've seen it several times. In fact, we've seen it. And here you can see Ciri's face and the rest of the characters in action. And finally, and one of the most surprising things, the Unreal Chaos Flesh Solver, an experimental technology integrated into Unreal Engine starting from version 5.4, which is part of the simulation system called Unreal Chaos. This system allows you to simulate soft tissues and organic structures like muscles, bones, and other things, so that the movements of the models make sense and are logical. In other words, they behave like a real horse, a real person, a real bear, or whatever it may be. And that these bodies deform when they receive impacts, react to weight, gravity, collisions, vibrate, bounce, and so on. I can already see 900 Chinese studios making breasts with this technology, ultra-realistic breasts that bounce. On top of all this, a new artificial intelligence system for crowds that, according to Epic, allows you to control, or rather, allows you to animate. Bring up to 300 NPCs to life simultaneously, all NPCs with independent behaviors. People who, let's say, in some way, have their own lives, have their own artificial intelligence, moving them, doing their activities, reacting, and so on. And even these characters are influenced by things that happen in the environment, like the weather, for example, an explosion or interactions between them. Supposedly, this new artificial intelligence technology for NPCs in Unreal Engine 5.6 would allow that if suddenly there's a group of NPCs at a fair like this, and something happens, a fight, an explosion, an event. Well, everyone reacts naturally and organically to what's happening, and they get upset. Each one runs in the direction they want. They climb onto something, they hide, things like that. That is, it gives life to each of the NPCs individually, supposedly without compromising the game's performance, not at all. How do they do it? I have no idea. That's what they promise, and that's supposedly what we're seeing. In this scene, NPCs are shown celebrating a festival, and each one reacts or makes movements as they please. Supposedly to what they're watching, which is these circus performers doing the festival and all that. Well, this would be applicable to any type of crowd, up to 300 NPCs, according to what they said, which is absolutely crazy. Altogether, all these technologies I mentioned to you would not only raise the graphics level of The Witcher 4 or any other game developed in this new version of Unreal Engine, but they would also improve the credibility of the world and how we inhabit it, how we perceive it. Because we're talking about that realism, which doesn't mean things look like real life, but that they have coherence. That the things that happen, the people who react, what moves, what stops moving, are coherent with the environment. Julius Gierbig, technical director at CD Projekt Red, said, "We want to show how you can achieve a visually stunning and dense world without compromising performance, even on a base console." And Michael Nowakowski, who is the president of CD Projekt, said, "It's not gameplay, it's a technical demo, but it does represent our technical direction and our collaboration with Epic." It's an important milestone. In 2022, CD Projekt Red announced that they were going to stop using the Red engine, which is their own graphics engine that they used to make it. The Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk 2077. They plan to begin using Unreal Engine 5, supposedly because there was better scalability for open worlds, a greater number of tools, more professionals who know how to use Unreal Engine, and greater technical stability for multi-generational projects. Well, the thing is that the people from Epic, in collaboration with the people from CD Projekt, released this tech demo to leave us all amazed and surprised, and saying, damn, what comes from Epic is amazing, what comes from The Witcher is amazing, but this is still just advertising. This doesn't imply PlayStation 5 games will use Unreal Engine 5.6. The near future, possibly within the next few years, will resemble the current situation. And there are very specific cases to take as a reference. And know that this will probably never end up looking like this on PlayStation 5. Don't get too excited. Remember, this has happened before. No pun intended. It even happened with CD Projekt Red. Remember this demo and what you're seeing on the screen? This was presented in 2019 at the initial presentation of Cyberpunk 2077. Well, these graphics never actually existed on PlayStation 4, the console this video game was supposed to be released on. It's true that these graphics weren't presented as PlayStation 4 graphics, but they were presented as Cyberpunk graphics. 2077 that the game never had. In case you forgot, this is the presentation where Kenny Reeves came out and said, "This is Cyberpunk" and such. Well, that presentation happened 6 years ago, almost 7 any moment now. And the game took another 5 years after it was released, or 4, to look more or less like this. So take this again as a tech demo, as the president of CD Projekt literally said. It's a tech demo. It's the best they could achieve, giving it their all, and it's not a video game, because in this demo, all he does is walk. It probably doesn't work, there are a lot of mechanics that aren't working. The world is really limited, it's just a segment and nothing else. This technical demo of The Witcher 4, presented with Epic Games, isn't trying to impress with cinematics or simulate playable gameplay. The goal is to show how far the graphics engine can go on a console like the standard PlayStation 5. In that sense, the demo delivers well. Not only because of technical details like global illumination, dynamic vegetation, or crowd animations, but also because of CD Projekt's artistic approach. Because everything we're seeing is gorgeous. It's beautiful. If it looks even half as good on PlayStation 5, I think we're good. But after Cyberpunk 2077, after everything that happened, any promise from CD Projekt Red, especially any visual promise, comes with double the expectations. On one hand, we know they're a great video game studio that has developed some of the most impressive experiences we've ever played. But on the other hand, we know they release all their games broken and always promise more than they can deliver. So we have to take this with a big grain of salt. The good thing is that this time they didn't set it up as pure marketing. And they said several times it's a tech demo. The final game won't be like this, but it's still exciting. It's the equivalent of when Sony put 8K on the PlayStation box. Yeah, of course. The PlayStation 5 plays 8K through streaming and HDMI 2.1 cable on certain TVs and videos. At best, you have everything together to watch a scene in 8K on a PlayStation 5. I don't think that's happened yet. With one hand on my heart and the other on my underwear, that's how it is for me. I don't think we'll get to see games looking that good on a standard PlayStation 5. No, with the high number of NPCs, graphical quality, definition, and smoothness, I don't believe it's possible. Games, huh? Games, do we have techniques? I believe you that it's running on a PlayStation 5, but not games. Games involve many more processes, sub-processes, and other complex elements. Seeing the limit or ceiling is nice because it's all downhill from there. What we saw was great, but it's something to consider. Let's not get confused as some people are bragging about it. Play 5, look at the graphics it has. See 8000. Leave me a comment. Friends, what do you think about series modeling? Do you think it changed or not? Do you like it or do you not like to see her like this? Tougher, more worn by age? Why not? Just as sensual but more worn by age. And where do you think these muscular physics could be applied well? In Street Fighter, boobs. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.